Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 273. 273 days passed since I started this project. It started with a blog, and ever since it started, I kept writing the blog posts in a form of a journal. I also recorded this podcast, and while it started in audio version for quite a while, video updates like this one, if you're watching it on Spotify video or YouTube video, then obviously you can see me. If you're only listening, then it's just for your information that video episodes are also there so you can see me beautiful face. But this element started about, I would say, 45 days ago or something like that, because this is video update number 51, but there were some scattered video update before. The first one and the only one in 2022 happened in December, and then I created probably 3 or 4 scattered video updates at the beginning of the year, probably between January and April. And then I started doing exactly the same thing as I do now. So basically, just sitting in front of my laptop and recording quick message to you. Sometimes it's not so quick because it lasts for 20-25 minutes. So brace yourselves. Today's update is coming. This Sunday was a bit lazy at the start. To be honest, I went to bed last night quite late. I believe it was 2 a.m. So I again crossed that magic barrier of midnight, and I'm not happy about it. I can feel my energy levels dropping because I did it 2 or 3 nights in a row already. So it definitely impacts my health. So I decided to at least make sure that I supply my organism, my body, with relevant nutrients. And while I'm not associated in any ways or affiliated with AG1, I can tell you that I tested a couple of different supplements in the past, and so far I think AG1, which is known as Athletic Greens, is probably the most complex of all in terms of, you know, easy digestion. I never had any problems after consuming AG1. For some people, they might not taste the best, so you can mix them with some juice or something like that. There's no big difference if you do it with the water or juice or something else. The most important thing is that they are packed with elements, but again, they are just supplements, so you need to know what they have and what they don't. And they don't have certain elements because, first, if they include that in their product, it might lead to you overdosing or kind of going over the daily recommended range. And while in cases like vitamin C or different other elements like creatine or things like that, they are safe to enormous levels, and they are well, you know, uh, processed by our system and can be disposed easily uh, over the certain required amount, there are other microelements that might be very dangerous because we need a very slight amounts of them all the time in our body, and we mostly derive them from foods, but they are kind of paradox because they are very important to be in the system, so you need to deliver them, and if you don't have them for a while, you might see different effects. They also are required in such a small amounts, and they very easily can get out of range, and then they might have a bad impact on you to the level of toxicity, or complete chaos in your system, that these need to be either derived from foods or taken in control amounts, as as per guidance. I don't recall anything from the top of my head, but things like zinc, for example, are a very important elements in our body that should be delivered in certain amounts, but they might be easily overdosed if you combine a couple of supplements that have, let's say, 100% of recommended daily dosage. So you receive like 400, and our body is not designed, for example, to treat them well or kind of dispose of them, so they collect in different organs, and they might lead to some damage or sickness, or poisoning or things like that. So it's very important to know. But I kind of went sideways. Let's get back on track. Apologies if I'm quite you know dull today and a bit quieter, but I'm really exhausted because today we went to Rosnola. Well, we first went to Bundoran because we wanted to see if what was in the weather forecast is true, and the the yellow and orange warning that was put on to Donegal and generally the west coast, especially on the northern side, if it was true, and maybe we could see some big waves or something like that in Bundoran. And we went there just for, recon mission and to get some walk done there. But as soon as we got to Bundoran, I was a little bit worried because it was quite crowdy. And when we left town and decided to go to Tulan Strand and park there, we realized that there is something happening in Budoran. I think it's called Sea Sessions or something like that. It's like some sort of festival. So there are big tents, and a lot of people are in the area, and there are some diversions and special parking places marked and open for the public because there's plenty of cars, a lot of crowds. And once we got to Tulan and I saw those diversions and the amount of cars that's in the car park, I decided that this is not a place for us. We wanted to get a family walk and avoid crowds. And certainly Bundaran was very crowdy, so we turned around and headed to Rosnola because we knew that if Bundaran is bring kind of, drawing those people that like parties or kind of entertainment to those sea sessions, that means that other places might be a little bit less busy. And we were right. Ballyshannon was like ghost town, despite being very close to Bundoran. And Rosnola was, I would say, averagely busy for this time of year. It was plenty of space. It was just after the low tide, so there was quite a wide strip of sand available so we could drive into. We parked the car far enough from the sea or so from the ocean to make sure that incoming tide is not won't surprise us as we planned to go for a walk, and we left the car and went for a walk. And today it was a decent walk because we did about 6 kilometers. Uh, it was fun. There was almost zero waves. There were a little bit of waves um, closer to the center of Rosnola Beach, but not nothing kind of extraordinary. So we were not, disappointed that we didn't take the surfboards and wetsuits. And after that, we came back home. We kind of prepped the house a little bit, like my wife did a lot of cleaning, and myself, I also did dinner. Like I made the dinner for us, and once dinner was ready, I didn't want to eat because I planned to do a run. So they sat down, Elizabeth and Julian. They kind of ate their dinners while I prepped and got ready for a run. And so I did. The weather was still humid and warm. It was very difficult to run. It wasn't a super pleasant run because there's no wind, and that humidity and warmth make that air a little bit harder to supply the body with the oxygen. But regardless, I kept running quite with a quite decent pace for first 2-3 kilometers, and then I extended the route that I planned to do, and finally I closed on, I think, another 6 kilometers, but running today. So overall, it's about 12 kilometers between run and walk, and plus cool down after the run, which was probably about 750 meters. So yeah, almost 13 kilometers today, which is a decent distance. And as I finished run and did my cool down, the huge mass of clouds were coming in, and I knew that it would be raining, and we have possibility of thunderstorms. And I was right. Not only I was right, obviously Met Iron were right, because this is the meteorological institute that gave me the kind of forecast that there is possibility of thunderstorms, and I was kind of waiting for it. After the run, I was so kind of sweaty, and heat was kind of getting out of me. Like I was very very much kind of like a reactor, and I needed to cool down, so I used the breathing to slow my heart rate fairly fast, and significantly down, because I was running around 170 to 180 bits per minute, so that was like a good zone for me. But again, I have some difficulties after more demanding runs because I have headaches. Headaches happen for me very often if I stress my body a lot, especially during the running. So I wanted to quickly drop the heart rate, and I use breathing specific breathing to method to get that down. So I quickly got from 170 to probably 120 and kept dropping slightly until 115. As I was approaching home after cooldown, I was probably around 110, which is a normal, I would say, heart rate for me while walking. So that was great, and that mitigated the headache a lot. Then obviously I need usually a cold shower to get it even more down. I still feel it slightly in the background, but it's not as bad as I would have them in the past. So yeah, that I just when I was probably about 50 meters from home, the rain started slowly getting momentum, and I was so happy to kind of feel it and get a little bit wet, but not too much. So on purpose, I was walking slowly to get a little bit of that water on me. And Julian was waiting in the window. That was so cute because when I opened the door, he gave me a piece of paper with some drawing on it. And then I realized that today was Father's Day in Ireland. And I completely forgot. And I was so happy that he remembered because we don't celebrate too many things in this family. And it was actually a very special weekend because yesterday was 17th anniversary of our marriage. Yes, I'm married to Elizabeth 17 years, and we actually got married on 17th of June, and it was 17th anniversary yesterday, so it was that double 17 interesting number. And we got her flowers, 17 roses, to kind of mark and highlight this element. And today was a Father's Day, and I got that lovely drawing. I'll probably picture it and drop it into a blog tomorrow because today I'm so tired. I can feel the amount of energy that both walk and run took out of me. So I just wanted to make sure that I record it before I collapse. And again, tomorrow is work, but there is very important thing happening as well tomorrow, especially closer to evening time. I will be driving to Shannon Airport. It's probably about 3 hours drive. And I go there because I'm going to pick my mother and my older brother. Well, not older than me, but I have two brothers and two younger brothers, but I will be picking the older one, which is basically a middle one from all three of us. And they both arrive for a week, so we will have a hopefully a fun time here together. They will stay for a week, and we'll probably travel a little and enjoy a little bit of time together. Julian will have another granny coming and spending time with him because a couple of weeks ago, Elizabeth's mother, which is my mother-in-law, was here, and he also enjoyed 3 weeks with her. And now these guys are coming for a week, my mother and my brother, so it will be also hopefully a funny thing, but I will be probably on the verge of death after that drive because I need to go there to collect them around, I would say, midnight, probably half past midnight. So around 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., we will be probably driving back, and that's another 3 hours. So the earliest we will be here at home will be 4 o'clock in the morning. So they will go straight to bed, I will go straight to bed. And it will be a very short night or short sleep to Tuesday. So I'll probably take the day off for that reason, or at least half day, to make sure that, I'm not waking up just to work for the sake of work and being useless and grumpy and cranky on the meetings. There's no point in doing that. And I hope that the guys will understand. So we are 20 minutes in. I won't be dragging it for too long. I hope you have a great day, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. And I'll have more energy tomorrow, hopefully. But I just realized that I need to record the episode much earlier than today, because it's 23:17, so 11:17 p.m. Too close to midnight, definitely, to do that. And I need to get back on track again. So again, weekend is a pattern of me dropping a little bit the ball and not hitting that committed deadline of recording and posting before 10 p.m. And tomorrow, definitely, I won't be able to do that at this time because I will be driving. So I need to plan well and make sure that the episode is recorded by the midday or something like that. So if you're waiting for those episodes, you're likely to see it much earlier than this one, and much earlier than the regular ones that were in the last couple of days. If you're interested in reading the blog is usually slightly different than what I record on the video and audio, because this is more freestyle. Of course, I mention a couple of things in the blog that usually overlap because, I'm journaling, so whatever happens during the day, I mention it in both the blog and the podcast, but podcast is slightly more freestyle and blog is pre-written and, it's copy read and proven, copy proofed. I don't know how do you call it, but yeah, I do that proving. So I make sure that whatever I write is fairly consistent and the sentences make sense. All right, that's it for today. Thank you very much for coming. We are 23 minutes in, so perfect moment to stop it and wrap up. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.